attention to gender issues and gender equality in early childhood education context. I would say that in many parts of the world, our children are in gendered environments. I mean, they are constantly surrounded by gendered discourse. For example, boys don't cry. Girls should be quiet and kind. Boys do not have long hair. Early childhood teacher is a woman's job, and so on. And there is a huge influence from media too. Korean animations were analyzed from gender perspective, and gender stereotypes were clearly reflected in those animations. For example, there are not many female characters, and female characters in the Korean animations are like wearing pink and ribbons. And the female characters are secondary. Their main roles are main character's girlfriend, and they are doing some minor and supportive acts. However, male characters are wonderful, excellent problem solvers. And they are doing brave and heroic acts. And we can easily imagine what kind of impacts this kind of gender stereotypes can have upon children's identity, particularly gender identity construction. So our children are situated in socio-cultural context where such gender stereotypes are like playing a very important role, and gendered discourse is very strong and persistent, and heavily influenced by such gender stereotypes and gendered discourse. They gradually construct their gender identity. And we can say that if this problem is not properly addressed, the current problems surrounding gender inequality are likely to persist in our world. So here comes the role of early childhood education. And I strongly believe that early childhood education is a very nice, excellent context for raising our children's gender awareness. A lot of research studies report that early childhood is a very important period in forming gender identity. And you can see some research studies. And Koch and Ilby claimed in 2005 that in order to bridge the gender gaps that girls and boys will experience later in their life, it is crucial, it's very important to begin addressing gender biases early in their life. And here comes another very important concept, role of early childhood teachers, role of kindergarten teachers or preschool teachers in terms of the development of children's balanced gender identity or the sense of gender equality. I believe that everybody in this room easily agrees how important role a teacher can play in shaping and reshaping our students' or children's thoughts and behaviors. According to one study, UNESCO 2016, teachers' gender-responsive pedagogies help to enhance girls' self-esteem in African countries. Unfortunately, there's a lack of focus in gender equality in early childhood childhood education, not only in policies, but also in research studies. So, I conducted one small-scale study involving Korean preschool and kindergarten teachers with a purpose to explore Korean early childhood teachers' gender awareness and their classroom practices. My research questions were, to what extent are Korean early childhood teachers aware of gender issues? What are their gender-related classroom practices? I worked with 11 Korean teachers, and you can see their biographic information there. They are all female teachers, and I interviewed with each teacher for like about half an hour to 2 hours. And I would like to share the research findings with you. In response to the first research question, to what extent are Korean early childhood teachers aware of gender issues? I would say that all the Korean early childhood teachers that I interviewed have developed a gender awareness to varying degree. Some teachers reached a pretty high level of gender awareness. However, some others have pretty lower gender awareness. It depends on like individual teachers. However, one thing that I can say for sure is that all of them had a sort of gender awareness or gender sensitivity. However, there are some obvious differences between like young teachers and aged teachers. So one of the aged teachers said that I'm not sure whether it is okay for a boy to wear a dress. And another aged teacher said, I'm trying to be open up to the notion of gender equality, but I feel I myself have some fixed views of gender. But one of the young teachers said, I think teachers in my age group have a similar level of gender sensitivity. I would like to say something about the causes of this change, the development of gender awareness. I would say that traditionally Korea is like heavily entrenched in gender stereotypes. Gender stereotypes or traditional gender roles are very strictly placed and working in so many aspects of Korean society. However, at a certain point of time, that very strong power structure related to gender started to shake. There was many social causes. So for example, there has been an increasing challenge against the traditional gender norms or gender roles and stereotypes. And the policies and programs were arranged for enhancing gender equality and women's empowerment, not only by the government, but also by academia and NGOs. And more women started to participate in social and economic activities, and more women were visible in decision-making or leadership positions. And that social changes motivated many Korean women to develop some gender awareness or gender sensitivity. And that social change has a strong impact upon early childhood teachers in terms of gender equality. However, in addition to the social change, I would like to highlight one another cause of the change, that is the effects of teacher training programs. So not only in preschool service training at college, but also in-service professional training, gender issues started to be addressed seriously. And that started to have a profound impact on early childhood teachers' gender awareness or gender sensitivity. However, as we are living in the transitional period, many Korean early childhood teachers are facing dilemmas, asking, am I on the right track? One of the teachers said, I know gender equality is important, but I'm not that confident that my words and behaviors are appropriate from gender perspectives. I sometimes wonder whether what I'm doing or saying is correct or not. Similarly, another teacher said, a couple of years ago, there was a 6-year-old boy in my class. That boy really liked to play with girls all day long, cooking and playing girls' roles. As it went on for a long time, I started to worry about the boy. What if the boy fails to develop masculine characteristics in time? That was pretty contradictory to what I have been saying to my children. I don't know what an optimal level is. How should I react to such a situation? What is the proper gender equality education practice? So based on this, I can say that Korean early childhood teachers have a very strong need for more guidance, particularly on gender equality practices. How many? Then what are they doing in their class? All of them said that there is no gender-focused lessons or programs. However, they are trying to naturally embed gender perspectives, develop strong gender stereotypes. One day, children were going to do a hospital role play. In deciding roles to play, one boy said, I want to be a nurse. And then another boy said, hey, nurse is a woman's job. You should not play a nurse role. I then intervened in the situation by saying, oh, that's not true. There are many male nurses. When I went to a hospital, a male nurse gave me a shot. I don't talk of this type a lot to break children's prejudice against gender. This kind of verbal interaction happens a lot. So through verbal interaction, the teacher was trying to fix some gender stereotypes. Another way was by using gender-flexible instructional materials, for example, pictures or storybooks. One teacher said that when she was trying to teach some jobs that are easily associated with men, like police officer or firefighter, she liked to use pictures of female firefighters or female police officers. The same went on to the jobs related to women, male nurse pictures and storybook. Some teachers do not want to use storybooks heavily presenting gender stereotypes. Using non-sexist, gender-neutral language and giving varied choices to children, these are some classroom practices that the teachers like to use to enhance students' gender awareness. Conclusion. I would like to highlight the importance of early childhood teachers in terms of the development of children's gender awareness and sensitivity. I strongly believe that you as early childhood teachers can serve as the agents of social change so that our children can enjoy more opportunities and can realize their potential as much as possible according to their own interests and talents. How? How can it happen? By questioning and challenging the dominant discourse of gender and social gender stereotypes, and also by becoming sensitive to the subtle, invisible ways that traditional gender roles and norms persist in the ECE context, and also by designing and implementing classroom practices in a more gender-responsive way, by creating conditions for different ways of being and acting, finally, by reflecting on our gender awareness and classroom practices. The second point that I want to highlight that is really important to provide teachers training on gender-responsive pedagogies. I earlier told you that many Korean preschool or early childhood teachers have a strong need for more guidance and more training in that direction. Finally, positive change cannot happen only through teachers' intervention. More wider level of social engagement in gender equality is definitely needed. Government is playing a very important role, and there should be more public discourse on gender equality and women's empowerment. And finally, there should be more gender-responsive educational resources, for example, toys. Still, most of the toys for women, girls, are in pink and have a pattern. The same goes to the toys for boys, and storybooks are the same. So hopefully, there will be more gender-responsive or gender-flexible resources and materials. That's one of the ways to help our students to raise gender awareness in a more positive, balanced way. Thank you very much.